My name's Christine, and this is my scrappy sampler quilt-along. January's block of the month is a Sawtooth Star. Fabric selection in a scrappy quilt is just as important as fabric selection in a regular quilt. So for this one, we are using entirely printed fabrics. There are no solid fabrics within this quilt top. And what you're going to want is probably 30 to 40 fat quarters of fabrics, so you have a decent amount of variation. We are making this as scrappy as we can because this is a fun, scrappy quilt for creative expression. So use fabrics you wouldn't normally use. Use fabrics that you hate. Use ugly, crazy fabrics and awful prints in this quilt. Use everything you can and just feel it. Feel the colors, feel the fabric selection. And the messier your stash gets, the better your quilt is. You will want a minimum of 4 fabrics for your Sawtooth Star, preferably 2 that are a light value and 2 that are a dark value. Large floral prints work really well to fussy cut in the center of your Sawtooth Star, so feel free to pick your fabric for the center first and build out from there. The saw teeth on your Sawtooth Star don't have to match that center fabric, but it looks nicer if you find a fabric that at least goes well with it, such as pink flowers going with pink flowers, or yellow and green flowers going with yellow-green saw teeth. If you pick light fabrics for the center, then pick dark fabrics for the outside. Or if you pick dark fabrics for the inside, pick light fabrics for the outside. It's necessary to create contrast between the background and the saw teeth so that your block looks readable. You can achieve this effect with color, value, and print. You might have 2 fabrics with a similar print and a similar color, but if you take a picture of it and put a little grayscale filter over the top, if one fabric is much darker than the other fabric, then you have contrast through value, and that will work. Using various size prints works as well, such as contrasting a very high volume flower print with a very low volume flower print. But you can also create contrast through similar value and volume prints if you have contrasting colors, such as green and red. So let's go make a scrappy Sawtooth Star. Start by fussy cutting your center patch into a 6.5 by 6.5 inch square. This is your show pony, so make sure it stands out. To make your saw teeth, cut 4 squares that are 4 by 4 inches wide. Then stack all those squares and cut them into half square triangles that are 4 by 4 inches. You should have 8 half square triangles for your saw teeth. To make flying geese units for the saw teeth, you will also need to cut out 2 squares that are 5 by 5 inches. You can go up to 5 1/4 if you eat seam allowance though. Then stack those 2 squares on top of each other and cut them in half into half square triangles that are 5 by 5 inches. That's just 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. And lastly, you will need to make your cornerstones that are 3.5 by 3.5 inch square. You will need 4 of them, 1 for each corner. Your Sawtooth Star will be made with 1 large square in the center, 4 flying geese units, and 4 cornerstones. To make this even scrappier, play with turning your prints and flipping fabrics to the back side. Once you have all your pieces cut out, it's a good idea to take a picture and then throw a black and white filter over the top to make sure you're getting the value and the contrast necessary for your Sawtooth Star to really pop. We'll start by making the flying geese units first. Line the long edges of the wings up with the short edges of the body. If you made your body a little bit longer, just leave a little bit of a gap at the top. Sew the first wing down and then press it open with your fingers. Then overlap your wings when you sew the next one on. I don't care what way you press your seam allowances, just make sure you press them. Trimming the dog ears is optional. Make sure each of your 4 flying geese units has a little bit of a beak at the top. This extra seam allowance will prevent you from losing the point at the top of the body. Attach a cornerstone to each side of the top and bottom flying geese units. Then your center square lines up with the long edge of each of your 2 middle flying geese units. Make sure all your saw teeth line the center square before sewing everything together. Then you can attach your top and bottom rows to the middle row with your center square. You can spend hours lining everything up, picking apart your seams, and re-sewing everything, but frankly, this is a fun quilt for me, so I'm not gonna get too crazy with the stitch ripper. A little wonkiness just adds to the scrappy vibe. All the blocks in my sampler quilt square up to 12 inches by 12 inches square. And that's how you make a Sawtooth Star. You can make these in a million different colorways. Just make sure that you're using your black and white filter to double check that your values and your prints are hitting that contrast that you're trying to go for. January is only number 1 of 12 scrappy sampler quilt blocks I'm going to show you how to make this year, so make sure you're subscribed to my channel so you can follow along. I'm also going to be throwing in some other random sewing videos here and there, so it's going to be a fun year. It's going to be a creative year, and we're just going to enjoy making beautiful, colorful quilt blocks. Don't forget to hit the like button or leave a comment down below if you like this quilt block. And I thank you so much for watching my video, and I'll see you all next time.